Imagine waking up one morning, sitting on the edge of your bed, and realizing with absolute certainty that you died in your sleep. You aren't a ghost. You aren't in heaven or hell. You are a rotting corpse, trapped inside a body that somehow hasn't stopped moving. This isn't a horror movie. For a man named David, this was his actual reality. It started small. David lost his appetite completely. When his family asked him why he wasn't eating, his answer chilled them to the bone. He calmly explained that dead men don't need food. His stomach no longer existed, and his blood had stopped flowing. His family thought he was having a nervous breakdown, but no matter what they said, David was fully convinced he was a walking corpse. He even started complaining that he could smell his own rotting flesh. Desperate, his family rushed him to the hospital. Doctors ran tests, did blood work, and checked his vitals. Physically, David was perfectly healthy. His heart was beating. His lungs were breathing. But when they showed him his own heartbeat on a monitor, David just shook his head. He told the doctors the machine was broken. He was suffering from one of the rarest, most terrifying psychological glitches in human history, Cotard syndrome. To understand how a living, breathing person can believe they are dead, you have to look at how the brain processes reality. When you look in the mirror, your brain's facial recognition center identifies you and immediately sends a signal to the emotional center. That emotional spike says, "This is me, I am alive." But in Cotard syndrome, that connection completely severs. David could look in the mirror and recognize his own face, but he felt absolutely nothing. Zero emotion, zero connection. Because his brain wasn't sending the alive signal, logic kicked in to explain the terrifying emptiness. It convinced him he was dead. Thankfully, with intense medication and therapy, the brain can slowly reconnect those pathways, bringing the dead back to life. The human mind is terrifying. After David's brain synced with reality, he found a new purpose. He wasn't content just being alive. He needed to understand why he had spent months convinced he was a walking corpse. With his wife's support, he began presenting his research to public audiences. They turned his harrowing experience into an educational deep dive into the rarest of medical phenomena, walking corpse syndrome. But small presentations were only the beginning. They converted an old workspace into a dedicated studio. They did the hard work together, lifting boxes and learning complex technical gear. Their goal was to build a platform called Not Just Story, the very channel you are watching right now. Soon, David was in the vocal booth, recording his own experience to ensure nobody else would suffer the isolating nightmare of a broken reality. Their public exhibits drew fascinated crowds at dusk. By turning his personal horror into shared knowledge, David finally found meaning. As they cozy together on their sofa in the warm evening light, David and his wife found a peace they thought was lost forever. The human mind is terrifyingly powerful, yes, but it is also incredibly resilient. Subscribe to Not Just Story for more. Thanks for watching.